It is showtime. Welcome in, everybody. Three Guys Before the Game, episode number 440. And this is our recap of West Virginia and Oklahoma and our preview of West Virginia against the Cyclones of Iowa State. Show title, Sooners Stomped, and Iowa State preview. Went pretty conventional on the second part of the title. That's what the team came back with, and that's what we do it. Three Guys Before the Game, brought to us by the wonderful folks at the Burdett Camping Center, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. Visit them at burdettcamping.com. A very good chance. Super Bowl played this weekend. There will be multiple Burdett campers in the lots at the Super Bowl. What do you think?
No, I don't think there's any question.
Yeah. And when those Burdett campers leave to make their way to the Super Bowl, they will load up on gas, fuel, snacks from GoMart. If you are not a GoMart Rewards card member yet, you need to sign it up. Just go onto their website and do it. You can save money on gas. That's always good. Save on your favorite snacks. Go to gomart.com. When you go there, you see this big ad there for the rewards, and just click on the rewards, then you're in. Easy. When the
You know what I noticed the other day?
What's that?
You know, it was like those Reese's shapes were right smack in the heart season with Valentine's Day.
Reese's,
I think Reese's has expanded those packs too.
Seriously?
They used to have the conventional 2-pack.
Uh-huh.
Then it went to 3. I saw one the other day, 6.
Half
Going
a
6
dozen.
wide. Going 6 wide.
Oh.
Now they seem to be the conventional Reese's
Standard
peanut butter
size?
cups, not the shapes, which, as you know, I prefer the shapes. Better peanut butter to chocolate ratio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get you.
So anyway, look for those at your local Gomer and see if they've got them.
Yeah. When those campers head off to the Super Bowl this weekend filled with goodies from GoMart, they will be using telemetry and data overseen by Comax Business Systems. Complete unit. Comax isn't just your local copier. They are West Virginia's business data safe, secure, efficiency leader for 25 years. They keep West Virginia businesses rolling. So from any type of an equipment that you would need in a business, and then onto the other side, IT security, your business phone system, they become your partner and you walk in lockstep with them. In short, they take care of all that hassle so that you don't get burned someday and you sit there and go, that forehead slapper, like, I thought we were safe with our stuff. Someone got into our stuff. Well, Comax comes in and they take care of your stuff.
You know what you said there, too? I think you know what the key to that whole thing is there you were just talking about? Take away the hassle. Isn't that really, at the end of the day, what we want from things? Just take away the hassle. You do it. Just handle it.
Yes. So whether you need one phone line or 1,000 phone lines, Comax digital phone systems, competitively priced, efficient, call them. They'll give you a free quote. Comax Business Systems, comaxwv.com. All right, you ready? Ho, 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 ho.
Yeah, let's go. Can't wait to talk about this one.
As Jerry Jones would say, how about them Mountaineers? I don't know if Jerry's ever said that. He's gone Cowboys on that. 14,022 people on hand Saturday night at the Coliseum. Looking, hoping, wishing, praying that West Virginia played well. And you know what? They got what they were looking for. West Virginia puts 56 on the board in the first half.
Yeah. NBA All-Star Game-esque.
Yeah. Most points they've scored in a half this year.
Mm-hmm.
They had 50-plus a couple of other times, but not 56. So they're up 26 at halftime. Eric Stevenson entered into another realm. The previous Saturday against the visiting Tigers of Auburn, he rolled up 31. He comes back this past weekend and scores a career-best 34, including 6 3-pointers. It has now given him the name Mr. Saturday.
That's official.
I just made it up. Maybe he should, he does NIL.
He does.
You know Chuck over at the WVU team shop over there, concourse of the Coliseum?
Noel does a great job.
He does. Terrific. He has Stevenson shirts. So maybe Chuck's next iteration of the T-shirt, you get a picture of Eric on the front of it, and it just says Mr. Saturday.
Those are nice shirts, too. The one with the picture of him on there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Mr. Saturday, what do you think?
Yeah, looks good.
So he had a Saturday to remember. Kedrian Johnson was extremely symmetrical. He scored 16 points, 8 from the field and 8 from the foul line. 8 of 8 at the foul line. That always helps. The other double-figure scorer, James, I'm only 17 years old, Okonkwo.
I was going to say, I thought he was like 13. He playing the U13?
Well, he's almost 17.
He got here when he was 17. Did you know that?
Yeah, he's gone down 3 years since he's been, and now he's 14.
Aging backwards. Benjamin Button.
He goes double-double for the first time. 10 points, 10 rebounds, and owns the distinction of being the most smiling Mountaineer in years.
He should be smiling.
No, but I mean, he smiles in game.
He should.
No, wait a second. No, he smiles in the game.
Good. I like that.
He doesn't smile after the play's over. Like, say he goes up, gets fouled, and he's walking the foul line. He smiles while the game is happening.
Good. You're playing basketball. Have fun. I like that.
He went 10 and 10.
He's playing great.
Someone got to him on his free throw shooting. Completely has changed.
Looks nice.
Yeah, right?
Can shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah, did we get any texts about the free throw shooting, or is that kind of leveled out there?
To my knowledge, I haven't seen any free throw text on this upcoming episode. Yeah. Oh, by the way.
Some said that would come back around.
Yeah.
Some people said that.
I just did something that's almost radio-like. I just did something. I was going to go, hey, stay with us because Nate Adrian's going to be joining us in a little bit. And I'm thinking, like, where are you going? Right?
Yeah, you didn't even announce that at the beginning.
I know I didn't, but I guess you don't have to, right? Because it's like a radio. Like in radio, you try to keep the people listening. So you go like, hey, Nate's coming up a little bit later on. Like I guess in a podcast, they're either going to stay or not going to stay one way, right?
Yeah.
Probably should have mentioned that, though, at the beginning.
Probably a good thing to mention early.
We're going to Italy in a little bit and talk with Nathan. 9 points for Joe Toussaint. He went 7 of 8 at the foul line. 8 points, Seth Wilson. West Virginia finishes the game 24-31 at the foul line. That's 77%. For the game, West Virginia shoots 47%. From 3, 41%, made 9 threes on the other side. Oklahoma shot 37% in each half, 23% for the night at the foul line. And they were just 12 of 22 at the free throw line. Did I say 3-point? They were 5 of 21 to 24%. And then from the free throw line, 12 of 22. I went home after the ball game. And I says to the wife, I says, this is crazy. She goes, what? I said, West Virginia pounds Oklahoma. Last Saturday, they ran Alabama off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State is legitimately contending for the regular season title.
Mm-hmm.
They blow a 23-point lead at Texas Tech.
Largest comeback in the history of the Big 12/Big 8.
Right. I mean, like, where's the
consistency is the hardest thing to get.
You can't.
It's the hardest thing to get.
You just total guess every time these teams go out. You just don't know.
And we'll talk more matchups when it comes, but a lot of that is matchups. A lot of that depends on what you're playing. I mean, we said that about this Oklahoma team, that West Virginia was just simply the better team, and you were at home. They had to go in and do exactly what they did. The other thing I thought was outstanding is you noticed here the last couple of weeks, Huggs has been tweaking things, right? Trying to do different things offensively, getting different player combinations in there, different lineups. His best tweak yet over the last week is simply to go to Stevenson and say, score 30+.
Good move.
I mean, that's wonderful, right? Eric just does that every game. You win. That's it. I mean, just do that. Just go get you 30.
Yeah.
Dude, when he gets blistering hot, that's fun. I love when shooters get like that.
Yeah. You hope it continues. Not that he's going to get 30 every night, but you hope that he plays well for the rest of the year. But
here's what happens next, though, and we'll get into this when it comes to Iowa State. Here's what happens next. And I thought Porter Moser did a nice job talking about this after the game. I mean, they knew what Stevenson's all about, right? He said he went back in. They showed him every three-pointer from the Auburn game. They were totally dialed in on him. Well, you're going to get an extra level of dialed in here against Iowa State, and you're going to get a team that's probably more equipped to take something away. This is a really good defensive Iowa State team. So now the challenge becomes for West Virginia. You've got to assume Stevenson is going to be limited moving forward because teams are just going to say, someone else out here needs to beat us. We are not going to have the guy that's gone for 30 twice in 7 days come put 30 on us. So now someone else from West Virginia is going to have to pick up the scoring load. And if Eric can get you some points in there, great. If they leave him alone a couple times by mistakes, he's got to hit it. But someone else is going to have to drive the bus, I would think, on Wednesday.
100% right. The tops of Eric Stevenson's sneakers are about to get real dirty because opposing teams are going to step on the tops of his sneakers. They're going to be toe-to-toe with him. And he now needs to become a great passer because they're going to run at him and they're going to come after him. Now he needs to be a really smart basketball player and be judicious because the heat's coming. Get rid of the ball. And as you said, someone, I don't care who, someone better step it up because you're going to get open shots.
Yeah, that's the flip side. That's fine. I mean, that's fine if you want to dedicate that to Eric, but what happens there? You're going to leave some others open. You're going to leave some rotations that didn't get done because you're paying extra attention to him. West Virginia's got to make that team pay, and first up with that's Iowa State.
Okay. Before we do Iowa State, let's go back to last Thursday's show where you gave us the analytical keys to success for West Virginia. This one seems to me to be pretty simple when we look at the stat sheet that they hit them. So go ahead. What'd you have?
Yeah, and let's go through a couple things. The first part was I pointed out how West Virginia had the advantage in of 16 different statistical categories that I looked at. West Virginia's better in 12. I mean, that led us to the West Virginia's better, now go take care of business. It did. So let's get into a couple of the keys we talked about. We said last week that Oklahoma does not force many turnovers defensively. They, coming into that game, were 340th out of 363 Division I teams in turnovers. West Virginia only had 5 in that first meeting. So the summary on that was if they're not going to force many turnovers, we thought that would lead to more opportunities offensively. Did it? Yeah.
Yes.
Season high in first half points, ended up with 93. It did. West Virginia only had 10 turnovers in the game, but 2 of those came late when the game was all but over, so really single-digit turnovers for all intents and purposes. They forced 16, did West Virginia. So turnovers being a story, West Virginia forced 16. Here's where the advantage was. 24-9 points off turnover advantage. So West Virginia didn't turn it over, got a lot of offensive good looks, hit them, and then turned around, lined up, took the ball from Oklahoma, put 24-9 on them in a points off turnover advantage. That was huge.
Yes.
We also pointed out Oklahoma doesn't get a ton of offensive rebounds, 332nd out of 363 teams. You needed to win the battle on the offensive glass against them. West Virginia did. It had a 15-10 offensive rebound advantage. OU only had 11 second chance points. West Virginia with 22 of those. So efficient offensively, and some of that efficiency came because you were hitting the offensive glass. The third piece, and this is our disclaimer. We talk about it every single game. It's going to be a key against Iowa State. It's a question against OU. Not only a key, but a question because they don't put teams on the free throw line very much. Opponents were only in the 58th percentile in free throw attempt rate versus the Sooners. We know that's one of the big buckets West Virginia has to fill up in order to get its points. West Virginia was just 8 of 16 in the first meeting between these teams. That switched a little bit, didn't it, Tony? Mm-hmm. West Virginia got to the line 31 times, ended up shooting 77%, but really until those late misses, West Virginia was over 80% most of that game. So there was another, not only got to the line a ton, but then converted those opportunities at the line. West Virginia is really difficult to beat when it's doing that at the free throw line. The other key we talked about, West Virginia had to get better on the defensive end Saturday, specifically in the paint. Auburn and TCU ate up WVU inside the paint, especially getting to the rim. That was important because that's what Oklahoma likes to do as well. It was 88th percentile in rim field goal attempt percentage coming into the game. That was Oklahoma. They wanted to get to the basket on you. The result, Oklahoma was just 13 of 27 on layups or dunks. 13 of 27.
Well, you got James the Eraser Okonkwo in there.
And so that was the next point. The note under that was Okonkwo was outstanding. He's turned into a deterrent there at the rim. West Virginia protected the paint and more specifically the rim. If you do that against Oklahoma, you generally get a win. So all the categories we talked about West Virginia had to have against Oklahoma, they all came up with a check mark. You won every category, which is part of why you won going away in that one.
Your plus minuses, Kedrian Johnson, the clubhouse lead, plus 39 when he was on the floor. And surprise, Mohamed Wagee, plus 31. That's interesting. He only played 11 and a half minutes. Plus 24 for Eric Stevenson, plus 28 for Joe Toussaint, plus 22 for Seth Wilson. So, 93-61 is your final score. How about, Tanner Groves, starting center for Oklahoma, bearded, and similar to you.
His is better. He's got a better beard.
Thicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, thicker. I really like him. I like his gang. He plays like he's going to kill people at the YMCA in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he goes into the Y in 20 years and people don't know who he is, it's going to be nightmare for those guys. My poor buddy. He played 11 minutes and 27 seconds, and they asked him to leave. He was disqualified. He did not have a night.
I have to say, it was nice to have that reversed. How many times did we come in here in the Culver-Shebway season and go, there it is. Culver got 2 in the first 45 seconds. They called 2 on Oscar right to start the half, changed the whole game. It was nice to have that go against somebody else for once.
Yeah. I'm going to do this next piece here as a public service announcement, as 3 guys before the game tries as best as we can to provide factual information. And sometimes there are narratives out there that aren't necessarily true, but they're built on, urban legend. We've told you that since joining the league, no team has taken more free throw attempts than West Virginia, 11 years. We've told you that. Last night, Saturday night, people were losing their stuff early before the game started when they saw who the officials were. They saw John Higgins' name. They saw Kelly Self. And, oh, no. Oh, is us. Whoa, is us. We're doomed. We're gloom. There's no way we'll do anything. Okay. What are the facts? The facts are that officiating crew called 26 fouls against Oklahoma, 18 against West Virginia. 8 foul difference. Free throw attempts, 31 for West Virginia, 22 for Oklahoma.
West Virginia, again, made more than they attempted, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. They made 12. West Virginia made twice as many.
I know, but West Virginia made more than Oklahoma attempted.
Yeah, but they made twice as many as Oklahoma made, but you're right. They made more than they also attempted, 24 to 22.
Second time that's happened.
So I'm just putting that out there for the next time it happens and the next time and the next time it happens. And when you throw up your hands and say, we never get any calls, we're always getting screwed, it's just simply not true.
Well, I use this every week. I'm going to use it again when West Virginia plays Iowa State. But now, through however many games we are, 3 quarters of the season, West Virginia sits in the 98th percentile in free throw attempt rate.
In the nation.
In the country. So there's not not many teams going to the line.
Only 2% go to the foul line more than West Virginia does.
Correct.
Just saying, man. Just like take that urban legend, set it aside, work on something else, because it's just simply not true.
One more number for you before we get to our preview. When we talk about why you win games and who you need to perform, Keontae George is pretty valuable to Baylor, right? He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Does Jalen Wilson matter to Kansas?
A ton.
So those guys are 1 and 2 in the Big 12 when it comes to usage rate put on an axis with true shooting percentage. So the most used players that have the best true shooting percentage. Now your true shooting percentage takes into account regular field goals, it's weighted more heavily for a 3, and it takes into account free throws that you're getting, okay? True shooting percentage. George 1, Wilson 2. Surprised?
Studs, no.
Not surprised. You know who's number 3 in that cluster, and it's not particularly close to the rest of the league?
Who may that be?
Well, you can probably guess since I'm bringing it up on a Three Guys podcast. One, Eric Stevenson. Eric Stevenson. Slightly less usage than those two, but a better true shooting percentage than both of them. That's how valuable he's been and how important it is for him to score points for this team to win. Again, one of those stats that backs up what your eyes tell you, but that's really an eye-opener, so to speak, when you talk about those other two guys are going to be lottery picks in the NBA, and here's Eric Stevenson right with him in terms of importance to his team.
I.e., the Mountaineers are going to be as good as Eric Stevenson is.
Correct.
There it is. All right. We have 26 days left in the regular season in the Big 12, and West Virginia will play Iowa State for the first time on Wednesday night here at the Coliseum. All right. TJ Otzelberger's second season at Iowa State. Fantastic job. They lost a ton of points from last year, and they have replenished, having a wonderful year. Second place right now, only to Texas. Longhorns are in the lead. Senator, what's the key to success? Shut your microphone off, Junior. Stop it.
Why do you always shut my mic off? I echo what you said about TJ Otzelberger. Steve Prohm could really never get it going there following Fred Hoiberg. Otzelberger's come in and taken two completely different groups, right? Took that group to the Sweet 16 last year. Tyrese Hunter went bananas in the NCAA tournament. He leaves, takes the bag of money, and goes to Texas. Otzelberger's come right back in and totally replaced that team. It's almost a whole different team again, and here they are tied for the league leader right up at the top of the league standings. I was interested to see how this team would respond after that historic loss to Texas Tech. Well, they answered that pretty affirmatively. Lined up, just drilled Kansas at Hilton Coliseum. Their question, Iowa State's question, is how can they do away from that Hilton Coliseum magic? All three league losses are away from Ames, Iowa, so that's an advantage West Virginia coming in. You'll look at them and say that defense is their calling card. They just held Kansas to 53 points in that last game we were talking about. They check in 11th nationally in defensive efficiency. Of the Big 12, 10 Big 12 opponents they've played so far, only 2 have scored 70 or more, and one of those games went into overtime. So think about that. Only 2 of the 10 have scored more than 70.
That's a wow.
One was an overtime game.
That's a wow.
So you're either going to have to break through that and have an unusually good offensive performance, which hasn't happened in their 10-game sample, or you're going to have to play a little D2 and hold them in check. 2 of those 10 didn't even get out of the 50s when they play Iowa State, so you might be in for a rock fight here. Here's one of the big concerns. Iowa State's number 1 in the country in defensive turnover percentage. So we just talked about how Oklahoma doesn't force turnovers. You're going to get some good looks, probably score some points. Iowa State likely is on the other end of this spectrum. They're going to get after you, and they're going to force turnovers. We have seen games when West Virginia struggles, it usually leads back to what? Too many turnovers. So they're going to have to really protect the ball. They do put teams on the foul line a lot. Chances are good because they're up on you with that defensive pressure. If you get the right whistle, you should get some free throws. That's key for West Virginia. Iowa State's 332nd out of 363 teams in opponent free throw rate. I mentioned earlier, West Virginia's in the 98th percentile in offensive free throw rate. The other part, Iowa State doesn't get to the line itself very often. 325th nationally, and they don't shoot it well when they get there. They're just the first percentile nationally over the last 5 games and 9th percentile on the year. So you not only need to get to the line if you're West Virginia, you need that balance, that imbalance to exist,
yes.
Right? Outscore them by a bunch at the line because points are going to be at the premium. Second question, can West Virginia win the offensive rebounding battle again? And then who capitalizes on those second shots? Both of these teams are really good on the offensive glass. Iowa State in the 96th percentile, West Virginia in the 93rd when it comes to offensive rebounding percentage. Also, these two teams rank 1 and 2 in the league in keeping the opponent off the offensive glass. So that's a key area. Watch that right away. Which one of these two teams does a better job hitting the offensive glass? Here's the key. Both teams are very mediocre when it comes to field goal percentage on second shots. Iowa State just in the 59th percentile in that category. West Virginia in the 46th. So both teams getting to the glass, but neither is great at putting the second shot back in. But you want to know one reason why West Virginia's been so good in these last 5 games? They've jumped to the 82nd percentile on field goal percentage on their second shot. So they finally married the getting on the glass and converting on that second chance.
How many games back? Last
5.
Last 5.
When West Virginia's been very good, right? Over the last 5 or 6 games.
Interesting.
All right.
So, yep, go ahead.
Okay, next piece. Protect the rim. We just talked about Oklahoma wanted to get to the glass or the rim, and Okonkwo's made a difference in there protecting that rim. Iowa State really gets after it. They're in the 99th percentile in field goal percentage at the rim over the last 5 games, 92nd on the season. They're going to go at you. So they're going to do a couple things. They want to get to the rim on you, and then if they can't, what do? Kick it out, and they want Caleb Grill to start shooting. He's one of the best shooters in the league. But protect the rim as you did against Oklahoma, and you're going to be in good shape. West Virginia's shooting. Now, they've been living off the 3 the last 5 games, right? We mentioned the 2 with Stevenson against Auburn and then against Oklahoma. West Virginia's in the 96th percentile in the last 5 games on 3-point attempts above the break. So that means anything but the corner. So West Virginia's shooting a lot of threes, more than it normally does, 96th percentile there. You're going to have to hit threes against them. Iowa State opponent 3-point attempt rate is in the 98th percentile, meaning they're going to give you threes. Kind of like Texas Tech did, right? They're going to jam the insides, not let you get to the basket, and tell you want to shoot from outside, go ahead. If you can get by us and not turn it over and get into your offense, and we're going to give you a 3, go ahead, show us you can beat us. Now, the difference there is, does that defensive philosophy change a little bit because they're going to be so overly focused on Stevenson? Who else is it that can make shots? This has got to be a Trey Mitchell stepping forward. Toussaint's got to hit some shots. Someone has to find a way to get the shots. The other last thing to focus on, I mentioned Caleb Grill is their guy. His Iowa State's net rating when he's on the court versus when he's off is in the 96th percentile. So find Caleb Grill, matchup. He's their Eric Stevenson. He's their shooter, and they play better when he's playing well. So there's a bunch. I gave you a lot more there because we haven't seen Iowa State yet.
Going back to the free throw situation, probably if everything goes well and everything follows the course, probably need to outscore them by 6 to 10 points at the foul line. Wouldn't you agree?
Maybe more.
Maybe more.
Maybe higher on that 10 to 12. Yeah, I think because they don't get to the line a lot and you do, and they put you on the line a lot, and you're probably going to struggle from the floor shooting-wise, I think it needs to be more. That to me, if I was picking one key, that might be number one. That's got to be a massive, big key. Score more points than them at the line because I think you're going to struggle to get shots.
And to your point, they take it to the rim. You have got to find a way to stay clean with bigs in foul trouble. So in other words, this is probably a three-headed game with Wagi, Okonkwo, and Bell.
Yes.
You got 15 fouls. You're probably going to be attacked, and you're going to have to be careful that you don't get the wrong guys to the line, and then obviously you get yourself into foul trouble.
Agree.
All right. So that's the deal on Iowa State as West Virginia shoots. And let me just tell you this. Crowd will also be a huge factor in this game. The crowd has been off the chart good. The crowd has been better this year than this team actually deserves. Fair statement?
Oh, no question.
Right? They have hung in there. They have hung in there. So now they need to have another great night crowd-wise because I got a little secret for you. When West Virginia goes to Hilton Coliseum here in a couple of weeks, their crowd will be awesome. So you better get them now. Very few teams go in there and win at Hilton Coliseum. It takes a special person and a special player to go into Hilton Coliseum and hit a big shot.
I know where you're going. One more note before you do, and I can't wait to talk about lemon trees and the like. West Virginia up to 14th in the Ken Palm rankings. 14th.
The computer,
which is just remarkable.
The computer has a fatal attraction with West Virginia.
It does, man. Just find some wins, and you are comfortably in this thing.
All the times West Virginia has said to the computer this year, I'm sorry, we can't date anymore. I got to see somebody else. The computer just keeps coming back. It's a fatal attraction. Just like, I still love you, West Virginia. I'm going to lift you up to 14.
14. I mean, when they walk in the Coliseum to play Iowa State, they'll be like roses all over the playing surface there, the whole thing.
All right. So there was once a time when West Virginia went into Hilton Coliseum. The place was bonkers. Bonkers, I tell you. And this kid from West Virginia, for no reason whatsoever, with the game on the line, just caught a ball on the left wing. I think I'll shoot it from here. Bang! It went in. West Virginia wins. And he joins us now from his palatial estate in Italy. Nathan Adrian, Mountaineer great. 3 guys before the game. 4th guy. And one of our buds. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Tony? How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Let's see. By now, I'm looking at my clock and putting the 6 hours on top of you. Have you had dinner yet today?
Nope, not yet. 8:30.
Oh, no, wait.
Wait, you got reservations there or what?
What do you got? 8:30?
Yeah. Well, it's my parents last night here.
I
we
was
got dinner at
wondering.
8:30.
Okay, so now 8:30 in Italy is basically 5 o'clock in the United States.
It's the start of dinner.
Yeah,
Exactly.
meaning it's an early dinner
Yeah,
period.
they came in. He said 8:30, and they go, "You want to eat that early?" That's what they said. So how are you, buddy? I'm from everyone I'm talking to that has followed you and has seen you this year. You're having a great year.
Yeah, doing good. Team's having a good year. We're tied for first still, so we're winning a lot of games.
All right. What's your averages? I know you don't want. What are you scoring? What are you averaging?
Somewhere around 15.
Okay. How many boards?
Somewhere between 6 and 7.
Are you shooting threes? What's your game looking like this year? How are they using you?
Yeah, kind of a mix of both, to be honest with you. Teams are doing a lot of switching against me, so I've been doing a lot more posting up than what I did in college, but shooting the ball well too, so kind of playing well all around.
Is it mostly man that you guys see, or do teams zone a lot?
Mostly man. They'll just throw zone in every once in a while just to mix things up, but you're going to see man 90% of the time.
Do they switch everything? So is that why you're getting mismatches?
A lot of teams switch to the 4 because a lot of teams in this league have undersized 4s.
Mm-hmm.
So they just switch there and kind of double me when I get in the post and just play off that.
Mm-hmm. Health-wise, you're good? Body's all good?
Healthy. Best I've felt in a long time, to be honest with you.
Awesome. Good, dude.
Yep.
Good. And so tell our folks specifically where you are in Italy.
I am in Forli, Italy, which is about 30 minutes southeast of Bologna.
Okay. 30 minutes southeast of Bologna. So what region is that? That's not Tuscany, is it?
No, it's Emilia-Romagna.
Okay. Yeah. All right, good.
How far from where you were last year?
Way away.
Ooh, long time. Probably 7 hours.
Yeah.
The difference
If
is
you're gonna
what?
drive.
What do you like better?
I like the climate down there a lot better.
Yeah.
You know, it never got cold. I was in shorts all year, so that was nice.
Yeah.
But the food up here is much better.
No, what do you mean
A
by
lot
that?
more.
What's
Yeah,
what's he mean?
all
What's
right,
he
yeah,
mean
let's
by
get
that?
specific.
Okay,
What do you mean?
Now you were right on the water in Brindisi.
I was out on the water. And not saying it wasn't good. It's just not what I like. There's a lot of fish, a lot of white pastas, a lot of oils, that kind of stuff.
What are we back in now? A lot of meatballs now?
Red sauce and steak kind of place.
Dude, they don't do meatballs.
Oh, they don't?
They don't do meatballs. They don't do meatballs in Italy. That's an American thing. Okay, so what have you been eating a lot of? Don't be giving me that chicken breast either. And if he gives me chicken breast again,
well, who do you care? What if he likes chicken breast? Eat chicken breast.
he's in Italy. You don't eat chicken breast.
Well,
in
you
Italy.
get a side of pasta with your chicken breast. They don't have chickens in Italy.
They don't do chicken breast there like that either. Go ahead. What are you eating?
Not many. I got a lot of the town I'm in. They're famous for eating these little pastas called cappellettis.
Yeah.
Cappellettis, little meat-filled pastas.
Oh yeah. That's
good.
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Little ragu on top of that.
Yeah. Pounded it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
good.
eating a good bit of that.
How often? I know your parents are there, so you've been going to restaurants. But before they got there, how many days a week out of 7 days do you eat in the house, and how many do you go out?
It depends. When Lucky was here, probably 4 nights out, 3 nights in.
Yeah.
Last, she had to go home for visa stuff, so without her, I'm about six nights in.
And what are you making?
I don't go out much.
And what are you making when you're by yourself?
Chicken.
See?
Him and that chicken.
See?
Guy's been all over the world. All he keeps stays on that chicken.
He likes what he wants. He can't have all those carbs. He's going to weigh 350 and not be able to get up and down the floor.
No, he's a fine.
Gotta mix in some
Look
protein.
at him. He's a picture of health.
That's because he's eating the chicken. That's the
He's eating
point.
chicken
yeah,
breast.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
fine.
you. Where are you sitting right now? Are you in a kitchen? What is that? What's happening?
No, I'm in a bedroom in a hotel in Parma.
Oh.
You're in Parma?
I'm in Parma.
Dude,
Had a tour today. Did the Parmigiano Reggiano tour.
dude.
Did that. Had a traditional balsamic tasting. That's good stuff.
That's my boy right there now.
Yeah.
So you're in Parma, huh?
Yeah, we're in Parma tonight.
Wow. So you went into one of those places that have the wheels of cheese, and you went like, holy heck, I've never seen this much cheese in my life.
Yeah. 20,000, 120-pound wheels of cheese.
There you go,
That's good.
baby. There you go.
Well, see, I like it. Kevin and Lisa show up when we get him out of the apartment there and
Oh,
let him get him a
finally.
little
Yeah,
culture.
exactly.
Yeah, perfect.
What do you want me to do? Walk around by myself?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why Alex Ruoff always did.
Ruoff was going to castles in Germany. Least we can do is go get you some cheese there by yourself. You can handle that.
I mean, Joe Alexander, he explored. Ruoff explored. I mean, all of a sudden you become a monk and just bunker down in your room.
Some of the well-noted great mountaineer explorers.
Absolutely. Joe's probably still walking somewhere. Who knows? He's in Israel now.
Somewhere in Israel.
Exactly, just kind of wandering around. All right, well, this is all good. How about your boy Blaine Stewart becoming an assistant?
Man, I'm excited for him. That's going to be a good hire. It's tough to say much more about that, for me, honestly. I'm just excited for him to be back. I get to be a football fan again.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so how many days a week you guys play? You play in two different leagues, right? You play some.
One league I play on Sundays.
That's it.
That's it.
Really?
That's a good gig.
He plays. He's in the NFL.
That's a great
plays on
gig.
Sundays.
He's over there eating
6.
eating wheels of cheese and playing on Sundays.
Wait a second. You did you say I play on Sundays at 6?
Sundays at 6.
That's awesome. That's beautiful.
Every Sunday, that's just your locked-in game time, Sunday at 6?
Yep, Sunday at 6. We've had one at 8.
That's awesome.
That's their NBC game.
Yeah. Move for TV.
Basketball night in Italy.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
That's awesome.
Okay, so what are you doing? How many days a week you guys practicing?
5. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay. Does anyone on your team smoke cigarettes?
Oh, plenty.
What do you mean plenty?
What do you mean? That's every team in Europe.
They do, don't they?
Absolutely.
You ever see anyone light up a flamer in halftime?
Well, they got the electronic cigarettes now. Not the vapes. They got the little ones that burn.
Uh-huh. And a guy will take a couple drags off of that at halftime.
Not this year, but I've seen it.
That's beautiful.
It's very Len Dawson-esque.
Yeah. So you traveled all your games on a bus or on an airplane? What are you doing?
We're busted this year. A lot of our games are within 2-3 hours, so we go same day usually.
Roads okay? No potholes like
Road
that one.
Is good.
Oh
No potholes like Ukraine. No 2-lane roads.
Good.
Haven't rear-ended anybody.
Oh no, he's good. He's good. Do you have a car?
I got a car. I got a Volvo.
You got a Volvo.
Yeah.
Automatic transmission or standard?
Automatic. Still don't know how to drive a stick.
I bet your dad's bummed out about that. I mean, I bet your dad has brought that up to you in the past. Like, how in the heck do you not know how to drive a standard?
I've asked him multiple times. He can't find a standard for me to drive other than a dump truck.
Well, that's cool. So have you been driving much, or the car just kind of sits there?
No, I drive all the time.
Okay.
That's what I do when I'm bored.
Cool. Well, that's great. So this season goes to what, May?
May, June. Depends on how far we go.
Go all the way to June. So
All the way to June. They only play once a week. Of course it goes to
that's a
June.
solid point.
Obviously, you got to play 10 months if you play once a week.
Yeah. He's got load management completely figured out.
I love that.
So you guys are first or second place. Like, what's the cigar that you guys are chasing after? Give us the skinny. What's playoffs look like? How do you do this?
I'm not exactly 100% sure yet. So we're in the second division. I don't know how, but 2 teams go up to the first division. So that's kind of what everybody in this league is chasing after.
Okay.
From my understanding, there's 16 teams that go to the playoffs. And then those 8, they split up into 2 brackets of 8. And the winner of those 2 brackets go up to the first division. Mm-hmm. But then those 2 teams play each other for a championship that doesn't, I mean, it means something obviously to win the championship, but you've already won the accomplishment that everybody's kind of playing for.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
So you're happy there. You have a 1-year contract. when do they start talking about coming back next year? Is that not until the season's over?
That's probably not till the season's over. Kind of depends on if we're one of the teams that go up or not. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell until that happens.
How about other Americans on your team or in the league that you've run across? Anybody we would have heard of?
You'd have to go back to know. My other American on my team's name is Vincent Sanford. He played 1 year at Georgetown in 2010.
Wow.
He was a freshman, and then he transferred to Dayton.
Wow.
Are you still counting as an American, or you have your dual citizenship?
Nope, still an American. Our case got filed to the courts 2 weeks ago, so we'll see how long that takes.
Efforting.
So
waiting for the Italian government.
Do they feel the people that are doing this? They feel confident you'll get this done?
Yeah. Everything we've heard so far, they think it should happen. So, just kind of depends on how things play out.
When you become a dual citizen and have United States citizenship and Italian, will you get another tattoo that says, now what's the one on your back say now?
Which one?
The one that from Charles's song, what's it say?
If I wake in West Virginia, I have won.
Yeah, if I wake in West Virginia, I have won. That's his tattoo.
Okay.
So, will you change that to will you get an additional one that says, if I wake?
I'm gonna put a little carrot above it and say, or Italy.
Perfect.
You can add that on.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's a pretty easy add-on.
It's like Microsoft Word. He just edits the text.
Yeah, that's
just
fine.
an arrow pointing up and a little note at the top.
Little asterisk right there.
I know there's a time difference, but have you watched at all much of the world champion Mountaineers?
I got to watch the game against Auburn, and then I've caught a couple first halves. But these last few have been late. That 9 p.m. and 8 p.m. game are a little too late for me.
At 2 a.m., that'd be 2 a.m. We tipped off 2 a.m. your time on Saturday.
Okay.
What'd you think of the
2
Auburn?
a.m. start.
Yeah.
When he says 8 or 9, when he says 8 or 9 p.m., he's referring to Eastern time, not the much
Eastern
ballyhooed
time.
Central time.
Not Central. No,
Yeah.
he goes Eastern.
Yeah,
he goes
No,
Eastern.
Eastern.
Yeah. Do you think we could get the
No.
Big 12 to put the Italian start time on these games?
Yeah, might be able to. They're
Yeah.
doing such a good job getting Eastern on there.
Yeah.
So you could start putting it out.
Yeah.
Help me out.
Yeah, I should put that right there. Or for Nathan Adrian. Yeah, I think I might start doing that. Okay, done. It will be. So what'd you think when you saw him play Auburn?
They look good against Auburn. The games I've seen, we've looked good. Just no consistency really between first half and second half evenly.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like everybody comes out and plays hard to start, and then the second half we come out and kind of forget what an offense is.
Yeah.
And you got guys just standing around. I mean, that's kind of a common theme throughout the years, I suppose, but seems like if you don't have somebody hitting shots, and we're struggling.
Mm-hmm. Don't you think Huggs should just tell Eric to get 30 each night and things would go a lot better?
I mean, it seems like the easy fix, right?
Yeah, I think you just do that and it just takes care of everything.
Make his job a lot easier.
Yeah, just tell him, Eric, go get 30 tonight. That's it.
When you were playing open gym in the summer with these guys, you played a little bit. So Stevenson, did he talk trash to you when you were in open gym?
No.
But he was talking.
Nobody talks trash to me, Tony.
Why not?
It's not fun to talk trash to somebody who doesn't care what you're saying.
That's a really good point, Nate. Really.
Give a guy a thumbs up, they don't have much to say back to you.
So you're the Switzerland of trash talking. Just it doesn't matter to me, dude. Whatever. Yeah, okay, we're good.
Anybody try over there to talk? Is there much talking in your league?
If it is, it's in Italian. I don't understand what you're saying.
How is your Italian? You added any words lately?
I can understand a lot. I can read a whole menu. You'd be proud. You stick an Italian menu in front of me, I can tell you what you're ordering.
Oh, that's
dude.
Good. That's good.
And have you picked up any new word? Like what's your newest word that you use with regularity?
See, I don't speak it. I just hear it and I can understand it. And then I'll answer in a C or a no.
So you don't even say anything like with an Italian accent, some Italian words that people say, like mozzarella. You don't just say mozzarella, right? How do you say that, Tony, in Italian? How would you do that?
They probably make it more of a U.
It's kind of mozzarella.
Yeah, more of probably a little bit more of a mozzarella than a mo.
Supersod? How do you say
supersod? Did you eat any of that stuff and supersod and anything stuff like that? You don't touch that. Did you saw prosciutto today though, didn't you?
We did. We didn't go to the prosciutto factory because we went to the
cheese.
We did the balsamic instead. We did the cheese, the balsamic, and then a wine tasting.
That's fine.
So we skipped the prosciutto to do the.
That's good. Your parents had a great time, huh?
Oh yeah, they had a great time. We went to Florence last Monday on my off day. So Florence is a good time. I love Florence.
I sent your, the Saab boys, obviously you know them. I sent them to a sandwich place in Florence this summer, and they were high-stepping.
What was it called?
I'd have to look at it, but they sent me pictures. Bread's like about this, you know what I mean? A big square, and they were crushing it.
I think we got it too.
Yeah, it had a pistachio spread over like mortadella and then this big bread. In fact, Nate, that place in Florence has now opened in New York City, and they just fly those dudes over, and they work for like 6 months at a time. It's the same exact recipe, the same exact stuff. They just ship everything over. They're crushing it.
They just opened where?
In the city.
That was a DJ Straff's recommendation for us there.
In Florence.
In Florence.
Oh yeah, he doesn't.
He
miss.
sent us a list of places. No, he doesn't miss.
He doesn't. DJ doesn't miss much.
Hey, did the previously famous lemon tree make it to the new place?
That thing's dead in Bernice somewhere.
Dead.
You growing anything in your?
It didn't travel. I got a plant. I do have a lily plant.
Oh, you just a lily named after his sister.
No fresh produce.
Yeah. Well, maybe get into that when the season changes. Since you got 6 days a week, you're not doing anything. You're going to grow something, I would think.
Just make sure your parents.
5 more months.
Just make sure your parents aren't smuggling any fig trees or anything back. Okay.
Nope.
Don't need any customs problems.
Thank
Thank you. Always a concern.
Just leave it at that. All right. Well, you need to go to dinner at 7:15 your time, 8:30 reservation. Crush some food for me and Brad, and send us a picture later today. We want to see it.
Yes.
All right, I will, guys.
All right, brother. Thanks, man.
See you, Nate.
See you, buddy.
Absolutely. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, see you. There he is. Well, that was a good check-in right there.
Always a good check-in.
He's a good check-in, huh?
I love the Nate check-ins.
One day a week. I like it.
He's got a good gig.
He's got a good gig.
Getting paid to play basketball, living in Italy, playing once a week.
And may add that thing on that tattoo. If I wake in West Virginia or if I wake in Italy, right?
Good for him.
It's a win.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, we feel somewhat responsible for getting him off the Grafton Road because, I mean, as you said in the past, he didn't want to even leave Grafton Road. Now the guy's traveling all over the world.
Yes.
Which is good to see. Hey, what do you say?
Can read an entire Italian menu. I mean, if nothing else comes of this, that's a nice life skill he's picked up there.
Absolutely. No question about that. What do you say we do a little bit of this? Oh, there's that song. I can't wait to hear the release of your song. Our boy's been efforting on your song, and I can't wait to hear it. Haven't heard it yet. Textual Healing, a service of three guys before the game, brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By GoMart, go for good times, go for GoMart. And by the Burdett Camping Center, the only warranty forever RV dealer in all of West Virginia. If you buy a recreational vehicle, wouldn't you want the warranty to last forever? Like you go to another place and they'll say, like, how long does this warranty last? So you're like, well, I'll give you 3 years and 5 years in this. You go like, is that shorter than forever? Chances are it probably is. Here we go. Who has the responsibility to make sure the players are excited, that they play with maximum intensity? The coaches, the seniors, each individual. Great show and thanks. Jim in Martinsville, Indiana. I think all of the above. Mm-hmm. All of the above. But the great teams are the ones that do have maximum intensity all of the time, or at least at a higher percentage than the others. Those are the truly great teams that just, like Alabama football. Like very rarely Do you ever see an Alabama football game where people come out afterward and say, Crimson Tide was a little bit flat today? Do they have that? They don't have that, really. They ball. So it's on everybody. It's a culture, I think. I think West Virginia had it better when they had Press Virginia. Pretty much. We weren't talking about, well, they didn't have a whole lot of engineering. Not that I can remember. They brought it.
Agree. I've always thought, I'm with you that it's all. I've always been a belief, though, that that's a lot of individual. You got to have that. You got to be able to get at this level. This isn't U9, where you sometimes have to talk through like, hey, here, pay attention here. We're going to stop coloring over here and let's get to the game. We got a big game. At this stage, you got to bring it yourself. You got to get yourself ready. You know how you have to prepare. You know what gets you going, and you take care of that. You don't wait for someone else to get you going.
Right.
In my opinion.
Good U9 reference there. Texter asks this question, and I'm doing some efforting right now. Okay. Any word on the spring game date? I'm hoping for a blue-gold TCU baseball doubleheader. Greg in Martinsville, just for the record, it's not blue and gold. It's gold and blue. Pitt is blue and gold. West Virginia is gold and blue. Anyway, I'm hearing unofficially. I'm not even. Should I say it?
No.
Anyway, any chance of efforting Kercheval to Monongalia County Ballpark for the games? Probably very little chance.
Good question. I just think it's becoming impossible to get it. I mean, it just sells out so quickly.
Yeah, it was a rough weekend for people trying to get it. My two cents on basketball, Greg says, maybe stop doubling the ball on pick and rolls, allowing the big a free cut to the basket. It doesn't seem to be working consistently. P.S. I have no land in Tucker County, but I have my eye on a plot that doesn't have a single square that is traversable. There is some land like that in West Virginia.
Yeah,
like you'd have to be a mountain goat in order to like do anything with it. Ralph in Charleston, Eric Stevenson was unbelievable, and John Higgins didn't get in the way. We were able to minimalize Joe Toussaint's dribbling. Is that a New York City thing? However, the key to the game was defense, rebounding, most impressive game of the year. Am I supposed to believe the guy that said, I have no desire to be an astronaut, but would make a great auctioneer, is going to be able to determine what makes a great text worthy of airtime or not? That's like saying I don't want a nice house, but I'd love to own a Pinto.
Couple points of clarification real quick. You said you have no aspirations to be an astronaut, and you said you'd be an elite auctioneer.
Mm-hmm.
Not just great, elite.
I maintain that. Texter, hello, three guys. Random musings. This is Gail in Martinsburg. Rachel's odyssey to find a Kercheval brought to mind an image of a parched man crawling across the scorching desert in search of something to drink. He refuses water at an oasis and will not accept a Gatorade from a passing nomad, preferring instead to hold out for a Kercheval because nothing else would quench his thirst. I had to defer listening to a Three Guys episode one Tuesday morning because the beer baron himself was on Julie Mason's Sirius XM morning show, and I had to listen to what he was sharing about our great state. He truly is a hot commodity. Finally, I too love mowing grass in the summer. Got a John Deere mower, 20 years old plus. Along the way, it has had the drive belt, the spark plug, and yes, even the battery replaced.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a spare set of blades that I've had to effort getting sharpened since Bolts' hardware closed a few years ago. Absolutely love the show. You guys are the best.
Good one.
I got a question for you.
I got a new spark plug in mine, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When those guys came in...
Drive belt seems to be okay, too.
That's important. When those guys came in to work on your mower,
yeah,
they find anything else beside the battery? Was it just the battery issue or anything else?
With the mower?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Did they fix any other issues with it?
Yeah, didn't we talk about that?
What?
There's a little cable that was unplugged on the when you had the ability to hold the button in, then you can back up and mow at the same time.
The blade stays on when you...
Yeah. Haven't been able to do that.
Really?
Yeah, haven't.
And they pointed that out to you?
Figured I bought somebody half-assed the thing at the place where I bought it. Just never had had it fixed. So I just said while they were there, because they build race cars.
I know.
I figured they could know how to hook something up there. I thought we could maybe have that something in
So
the
they
back of their
fixed
car.
so now you can back it up while the blade stays engaged and mow.
Yeah, the cord was already there, just wasn't attached.
Jeez.
We did that too. Look,
Okay.
there they are, Jason and John.
Yeah, I had a conversation with them after the game Saturday. They were there at the game.
Yeah, very productive.
Yeah. Texter, they said that you gave them a pretty good audience that day when they came over.
Yeah, we talked about we covered a lot of ground.
3Gs, it's been a while since I texted, but there have been far too many signs from above to ignore any longer. I've been in Tampa since the 1st of January, and it started on the trip down. I saw wild boars on I-95 while listening to episode 430, and I thought, where is Scopes when you need him?
How about that?
A few weeks later, Sexual Healing came on the radio, an obvious ripoff on the real hit, and it reminded me to tune in and listen to 435, but I still didn't write. But yesterday I visited a great little Italian market called Cacciatore Brothers. Outstanding meats, sausages, dozens of imported items, and, of course, authentic San Marzano tomatoes.
Authentic.
That's when I knew I had to drop a line again just to say greetings from the Sunshine State. I'm very cautiously optimistic again after the big win and happy with the fact that the football team will be in Orlando in October and the hoops team in Fort Myers in November. Things to look forward to. Like a growler of Kirchevale from Stone Tower when I get back in April if it's still around. Please tell me it's going to still be around. I love the show. I miss hoops in person. Hope I don't miss the ale. Definitely don't miss the cold. Mark in Tampa, not Buchanan. We can make no promises about Kirchevale as far as going forward.
You had a tweet this weekend about it, and I thought you made a great point. I mean, it's become hotter than Taylor Swift tickets.
No question.
I thought that was a perfect comparison.
I was stunned.
Same level of interest.
Stunned when I got that word about Keglers this weekend. I talked to the girl, wonderful young lady, at the tap house at the Chestnut Brew Works. I went there Friday.
Tap room, I think.
Tap room.
Yeah.
I say tap house?
Yeah.
The tap room. You talk about a perfect name for a person that serves beer.
Yeah.
Amber.
Oh, perfect.
Been there 7 years.
Gave you good customer service.
Oh.
You got a couple crowlers, I believe.
3.
Okay.
Terrific. And while we were there, Taylor, could you put that picture up of our visit to the Chestnut Brew Works tap room on Friday? Could you put that one up, please? Excuse me? He doesn't want to put the picture up.
Yeah, he's claiming a file issue, but
there is a file issue. Well, the picture was of Taylor at the tap room having a cold Kirchevale on Friday.
He pay for that?
No. They picked it up over there. He's a celebrity. They said, Taylor's here.
Yeah, but he's cutting into our profits on that. I mean, no more free for him.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Texter. 3 guys, a few housekeeping items today. He assumed Hoppy was going to be here. I'm surprised you have not mentioned 304, 404, 4083 as a palindrome with a pesky and hard-hitting 8 like Carl Joseph. Scopes, it's time to call in reinforcements in the time zone battle. You must make a declaration of tweet war by calling on WVU Twitter to obliterate Big 12 handles that post in Central only. Flank them on all sides with a simple comment of 9 o'clock Eastern if the game starts at 8. 3, Senator, please tell me I wasn't the only one hammering the in-game unders on Auburn, Tennessee.
Well done.
What a diamond in the rough, and I mean rough. Andrew, Parkersburg. Texter, Eric from Lakeshore, Michigan. It was great to get a chance to meet Brad and have a Kirchevale on the 6th. I want to say I think that Brett Yormark is playing the right game. We know football rules the college game, but the Big 12 isn't going to grab blue bloods to take over, but a solid third would be fine. The one thing he has is the best basketball league, adding the Zags along with the Four Corners would take it to basically the G League. So far above the rest that the possibilities for money for TV deals, especially the tournament, would be amazing. You could even make the Big 12 tournament such an event. You could get venues to host as well as the big sponsors. Think about it. Most of the top 15 to 20 teams would be there playing each other. From the stable you have now to add Zags, Houston, Arizona, it would be a high-level move that one league could make realistically. Thanks for all the laughs, getting through the tough times on the field and court. Let's go Mountaineers. So, yeah, that conversation is continuing, obviously. But here's the thing, and I said this to Brad, I think, last episode before we even started recording, or it might have been Friday night. I don't remember. Gonzaga right now is a really good program, right? Really good program. A national program. That doesn't mean that's going to stay a national program when Mark Few goes away. I mean, Dan Monson was there, and then Few, and they've had great success. But Few's had this super long tenure. I mean, that thing could crap out when he's gone. Really easy. And then you're sitting there holding Gonzaga going like, I wish they could be good again. Because what they're doing right now is unbelievably hard. Unbelievably hard. They got the thing wired right now. That's not to say that can continue.
Except for this year.
I get it.
They've come back to the pack this year.
Right. So, like, when everyone gets all giddy about it, there's no guarantee that 8 years, 4, 5, 6, 7 years that they're going to, they could just be what they are, really super small school and just okay. So you got to be careful on that one. Steve in Kansas City, 3 guys, hello. Question for part-time, time zone, and time for textual healing. What is efforting? Is it code for we're looking for a better answer? At any rate, it seems to fit our Mountaineer basketball team. We're looking for something better from them. I love our team, and I love the show. Go Mountaineers. You're the one that defined it. What is it?
Working on it.
That's all it means.
Working on it. That's not an original. Dan Patrick Show used that years ago.
Oh, okay. Texters, this one, Mason. This one didn't age well. I was going to hold my tongue about negatively commenting on the basketball team again. However, after the TCU game, I decided I had to vent. What the hell was that? I think we are all realistic and know West Virginia does not possess the financial resources to compete with the elite in college sports. No billion-dollar sugar daddies in this state to bail us out. But could we see some better effort and efficiency when things don't go well from the get-go? Sure. Some of the players are young, but most are grown-ass men who ought to know life usually does not hand you more than you are willing to work for. As Tony pointed out at this point, we are what we are, so can you spell NIT? Unfortunately, it is harder every day to get behind our 2 major sports teams who seem to play to their inabilities instead of their ability to succeed. One last comment. How come there is no Kurt Chevelle north of the Mason-Dixon line? We got a lot there. No, we're just trying to, heck, north of Mason-Dixon, we're just trying to keep it in, let's get it in Monongalia County. Let's take care of our own county here first and then go from there. However, it is a distribution, by the way, this coming week. It's heading out to various places. This coming Friday, Bill's getting in his truck and driving it around the state.
Still there for Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, one quick note. Been meaning to bring this up for a while. I saw a tweet from Ralph Russo, AP, the esteemed AP writer. He put out a dispatch recently that said he went in and used 24/7's annual composite team rankings in football, totaled up the top 20 recruiting schools from 2017 through 2021. You with me so far?
Yep.
Top 20 in recruiting rankings, 2017 through 2021. And then he did a top 20 the past 2 years, which encompasses the NIL era. So the top 20 from 17 to 21, then the top 20 in recruiting when NIL has become a thing.
With you.
17 of the 20 are the same. So to our point where we've often said, it doesn't necessarily change your lot in life if you're West Virginia. The money. The money's, here's the secret, money's been there for a while, guys. People have been playing NIL for a long time. They just didn't tell you it was NIL.
That's a really interesting stat.
So I thought that was a good stat there by Ralph.
It hasn't changed. It is what it is. Basically.
It is what it is.
To your point, our last guy, I think we're all realistic, he said, and no, West Virginia does not possess the financial resources to compete with the elite in college sports. I really have a difficult time accepting that. I just do. I just do. And we talked about Gonzaga a little bit ago. Like, you know how small Gonzaga is? Have you been to Spokane? Have you seen that? It's a glorified, like, small college gym that they play in. You can get it done. You can get this done. You can get this done, even in this new era. You can. Texter, hey, three guys, my wife just came home yesterday and proudly proclaimed that she had started listening to Three Guys before the game.
Excellent.
My face lit up. We started talking about our favorite people on the program. She could not figure out all of the different names for you guys. Can we get a brief clarification on the aliases that the different hosts go by? Thank you, Josh from Morgantown. P.S. I had a Kercheval at Kegler's a while back, and it was fantastic. Okay, real quick. So the scopes thing started when Hoppy questioned my ability to kill a boar. And he said, you've never shot a gun. How are you going to do it? And I said, because they have a scope on the gun. I'll just put the scope on. I'll just line the thing up in the middle and the crosshairs and then just shoot in the middle of it and do that if you're watching. Absolutely blow that pig up. See that, Brad? That's a picture of me with the gun and the boar.
Is that before or after? Because it looks the same in both.
He got killed. I killed him.
But that's how he looked before you shot him. He was sound asleep, snoring.
So that's how scope started. Spreads is Brad because all of the gambling information, the spread, the point spread. The dean is Hoppy because he's like 207 years old, and he's the dean of all broadcasters in the state. What else? What other names? Anything else? Scope, spreads.
I think there's more.
Oh, Hoppy is because Pat White told us that when he was on the team and he practiced, they would just yell out Hoppy, Hoppy, Hoppy. So sometimes people say Hoppy, Hoppy, Hoppy. Sometimes people say Hoppy cubed, which is Hoppy 3 times.
Somebody said Suds earlier in one of these texts. That would be Kercheval because he has a beer named after him.
Yes, Suds is Hoppy because he got a beer, yeah. Dan in Damascus, Maryland, with all due respect to the texter who took issue with Tony's pronunciation of Latrobe, Pennsylvania, my uncle has lived in Latrobe for 30 years, and he and everyone else I know from that town actually call it Latrobe. And I knew that. I remember I've heard people say Latrobe. Anyway, on a different note, I recently discovered that my uncle used to own land in Hardy County.
Of course.
He was willing to tell me about the property, and although it didn't include any dilapidated buildings or a leaning tower of Pisa-esque barns, it did have an old car, painted in camouflage, with the top sliced off of what he called the mobile deer blind. Perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Hoping we get some Kercheval in the Eastern Panhandle sometime soon so that I can venture across the state lines and enjoy a pint or 4. Dan in Damascus, Maryland.
Efferny.
We'll get it out there at some point. Guys, with all due respect, I listened to the Final Four podcast with John Flowers, and recently they had Ren Baker as a guest. Awesome interview, but the thing that really made me belly laugh was when Ren mentioned that he and Pete Thamel are good friends. Can't wait for the breaking news that Thamel has purchased land in West Virginia. Enjoy the show. Paul in Clarksburg. That probably won't settle well with Hoppy. Finds out that Ren's boys with Thamel. Hey, 3 guys, question. You have discussed how many regular season conference games are needed to get into the tournament. That number is probably 8. What if they would get 6 or 7 and win a couple in the Big 12 tournament? So I think 6, probably not. 7, mathematically you have a chance. Oklahoma did it a few years back.
Yeah, we've talked a couple times. I think given, and I mentioned this earlier, West Virginia's moved up to 14th in the Ken Palm rankings. It's still, top 20 in the net. I think 7's definitely in play if you're looking for a minimum there.
Texter, Doug in Bridgeport, if Hoppy's back on the Oklahoma Review Iowa State preview, please cut off of his microphone and start talking about what the Mountaineers need to do to make the dance. You'll know it'll be coming when he says, we'll get the win against Iowa State. Then, at that point, shut the microphone off. I'd suggest bodily harm as well, but I'm not that kind of a person. One game at a time. Do what you need to do. Bring energy. Rebound. Make foul shots. Don't throw it to the other guys. That's all.
And score 30, Eric.
Sounds like a recipe. Greg in Catlettsburg, regarding realignment, not that I want Brad to be wrong, but I've hoped Texas and Oklahoma would have to stay the duration simply for spite. Like Brad, not a fan of the changes. I'll miss the round robin. But since we're down the rabbit hole to bring in on the other four corner schools, Tulane and San Diego State, heck, even Gonzaga, for basketball, rename it all Coast to Coast Conference. Could you also imagine having Arizona and Gonzaga on the schedule? Could happen. Question. Over a period of, let's say, the next decade or so, theorizing with the above, would you rather be a team that is great in a mediocre conference or a mediocre team in a great conference? Thanks for being awesome. We are three guys. It's an interesting query. Would you rather be the best team in a mediocre league, or would you rather be a mediocre team in a great league? What do you say?
Probably great.
In a mediocre league?
Probably. Because I'm not sitting here rooting for Kansas on a daily basis. Rather win. You know, it is interesting, though. I was thinking about this league stuff over the weekend again. Maybe I'm wrong. We get a lot of texts, talk to a lot of people. I just so rarely hear people clamoring for what the texter just said, like a coast-to-coast. Well, I really hope we expand out into a couple more time zones. You just don't hear that from the general fan, right? And I think it's another one of those moves away from what the core of college athletics is, which is regional-based. And I know this is different coming from a West Virginia that's not in a regional league anymore, but that's not West Virginia's fault. But for something that has developed and been born out of regionality, and the rivalries have come regionally, not nationally for the most part, the sport is continuing to expand into a national, which is being driven by the TV networks, who would prefer to have what? What do the TV networks always want?
Games in all time zones.
They want national because why? Where are they going for their ad dollars? National, because the more regional you get, the harder it is to get ad dollars, correct?
You think you're saying that they've sucked all the juice out of the Phillips 66 sponge?
Yeah, I think some of that's to the point. It's part of what NASCAR did, right? It was a super popular regional sport that then people got in there, namely the TV networks, and said, you know what, how do we make more money? We've tapped it all here in the slow. We've got to get bigger and broader to bring in more dollars. TV networks are trying to do the same thing with college football and basketball. But I don't hear fans clamoring, can you get me more games in California? Do you hear anybody in the Big 12 or West Virginia saying, can I get more games in California?
Haven't heard that.
I'd really like that matchup with the Aztecs, all due respect to San Diego State.
Sure.
It just doesn't happen. So you talk about those things that are in different spots and not in alignment, I don't think, with what fans want. That's one of the areas where college sports has kind of gotten off track. And again, it's because college, it's the networks are driving this thing. But I'm not sure they're aligned with what most people want.
Extremely well said. Extremely well said. 100%. 100%. If you could do this all over again, and every school removes its conference affiliation, we know how the fans would geographically put it together.
Almost all of them. 99% of fans, I think, would say, put us back together in a regional setup.
Yes.
Would they not?
Yes, but
you keep moving further away from that.
But as you well know, the people that are paying the money don't want that because they have to go to the advertisers and sell them the fact that they can get more eyeballs all the way across the country. There's no question what you said is correct. Texter, Jim the Poet Laureate chiming in. So this is the guy that we gave him Poet Laureate status late in December when he had that 'Twas the Night Before poem, I think, right? Sorry it's been a while. With a colonoscopy for me, COVID for my wife, and constant working, my time has been limited. But now we're on the road to recovery. It's time to kick this season into high gear. The team needs a boost, and Saturday may be what we need for confidence. What will the rest of the season hold? Who knows? But let's cheer them on and know that they will always have 55 counties behind them. By the way, any chance of a non-alcoholic Kirchhoff Ale? If so, name it the Pete Thamel Zero. Very well done. Texter, I am not one of the eloquent ones, but I'm a P1 listener. I saw this and thought of the three of you. Can we put that graphic up, Taylor? Taylor reports that he did not get the graphic. Now you're looking at me like that. You want me to rip them. You want me to rip them on the air. I will not do that. No, I'm not going to rip them. But I would wonder aloud, since I gave him the sheet with the text on, that he might have come to us and said, hey, I don't have this graphic. Would you think that might be something? Might he have done that, Brett? But I'm not going to rip them. Oh, by the way, last show, remember when he really struggled getting some graphics up? What did he report to us after the show was over? Remember?
No.
Was he injured in the show last show?
Oh, yeah. He injured himself.
He injured himself.
He's out there by himself. There's no one within miles.
And he came in
with an injury.
He came in like his hand, like big, has a towel over his hand. He was bleeding.
Yeah, as if he was working a power tool out there.
I mean, he came in like he was working a router. I cut myself. I was bleeding. I couldn't. And what did I tell him? I said, I wish you would have told us. I would have come in and put a tourniquet around your throat. What I told him.
So we don't have this graphic?
No, anyway, the graphic says this. It's a sign somewhere in Austin, Texas on a business. It says the phrase, don't take this the wrong way, has a 0% success rate. Oh, boy. Texter, Jeff in Parkersburg. Brad told us about our ranking on fast break points allowed, but did he mention that we're dead last in slow break points allowed? Just roll the ball to half court, pass it to a wide open opponent under the basket, almost threw my Slim Jim at the television. Texter, this team is hard on the battery life of my pacemaker. I would like to be around for the 800th episode.
These are coming after the or during the TCU game?
Yeah, apparently.
By the way, there's not going to be an 800 episode.
Texter, since Hoppy's part-time job pulls him away from the show now and then, I thought maybe Taylor could sit in his chair. But with his last episode performance, why not use a cardboard cutout of Hoppy like in the COVID days?
Now, that was pretty good timing there. You didn't even plan that to come at the moment when Taylor didn't hit the graphic up for the second time. 0 for 2 on the day.
However, Taylor, you know why it worked? Because Taylor is being consistently inconsistent. So I could have put it in any time. He's struggling.
I said, that's a good point.
Lastly, looking forward to when you start live streaming on Facebook. I hear you can make tens and tens of dollars doing that. Keep up the great work, Jeff in Parkersburg.
Well, that's right in our wheelhouse. Doing a lot of things for very little money. That would be right up our alley.
Scopes, spreads, and Hoppy. I wanted to pass along an anecdote about your favorite menswear proprietor. Oh, what's this? Myself and some other young lads were lucky enough to have fine-looking Phil as a guest Little League coach in resplendent Braxton County. He didn't tell us any tales about the Mothman or brag about being from the place with the best go-mart, but he was a fine example of someone to look up to for a young ball player. I'm sure he and Spreads have compared college baseball stories. Thanks for the great show. Signed by Jeremiah in Stonewood. So Phil has never told us he was a guest Little League coach. Now, he played college baseball, right?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. Same. What position was he?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Looks like an outfielder.
No, I think he was an infielder.
Really?
Yeah.
He looks like an outfielder that'd be like perfect uniform, right? Like everything would be perfect uniform-wise.
Yeah, I think he was an infielder.
Like, did he play with a tape measure over his shoulders?
It could have. Definitely did not have the pins in the sleeve, though. That'd be a hazard while diving for a ball.
Yeah. They'd think he was like mocking the ball up.
Yeah.
This was an interesting text. I noticed in the loss to TCU that the rims were very soft. The one on the right side of the TV screen rattled so bad, I thought it would come off the backboard. Do you think soft rims harm West Virginia? I love the show. I think this texter's on to something. No question. Soft rims have been the demise of the Mountaineers. TCU probably would not have won a game this year had they not had super soft rims on the right side. So I think you're on it. Texter, ciao amici. I'm listening to Monday's show about spreading the Kercheval wealth through the East Coast. I'm heading down to Orlando in October for the Central Florida game. My cousin is a well-known disc jockey at an Orlando rock station. I'm thinking we can have an event at the House of Blues Friday night before the game. Let me know. Signed by Dino in Morgantown. I'm a landowner in Mineral, Hampshire, and Logan counties.
Goodness gracious.
That's a classic right there. He's got
He's a land baron.
Mineral. He's in Mineral, Hampshire, and Logan. He spread the state.
Yeah, land baron.
Surprised he didn't say Weirton to Welch and Martinsburg to Matewan and all points in between. Now, I may have committed an error there. I said he wrote, I'm coming in October for the UCF game. Like, what are you supposed to call these guys?
That UCF, you don't call them Central Florida.
You don't say that.
I think they lose their mind on Central Florida, which is kind of interesting because that would be the better of the brands, wouldn't it? Don't you want to tell people where you are?
Yeah. I saw some stuff on, I guess they tweet a lot. The UCF people, they tweet a lot.
Like the fans?
Yeah. And I guess when the schedule came out last week, like Big 12 people just like, I guess they crushed them.
Well, crushed them about what?
Because I guess they were
because
the ones,
their AD said it was coming out a week before when it actually
I don't
came
remember,
out.
but I mean the Big 12 people just like they had some videos and some memes out there. There was a thing with two guys from Iowa. It was a movie, but they made these two guys from Iowa State, and they had these two guys coming from UCF, and they took an ass beating.
Really?
I think they got a lot of notoriety when they claimed the national championship several years ago. That they were like really loud, and I think the Big 12 people kind of.
You think people already lined up against them?
Yeah, I do.
Huh? I hadn't heard that.
Sensing.
I didn't know that. First I've heard of that.
Texter, hey, three guys.
I mean, we had some incidents when we were down there last time. I mean, it was caused by West Virginia people. They were the ones talking, but luckily time has passed. That's probably been forgotten. But
statute of limitations.
Multiple different incidents involving high-level West Virginia staffers.
Mm-hmm.
Security guard involved in one.
Yeah, that's true. We'll leave that go.
I think it's okay now.
Probably. Hey, three guys. As I listened to episode 439, it reminded me of my own lawnmower breakdown this mishap. My brother and I thought it was just something with the engine since it wouldn't turn over. We loaded it onto the trailer, took it to the neighbor, and before we could get it off the trailer, the neighbor said it was a fuse that was blown.
Mm-hmm.
My brother was not very happy about it because we had the fuse at our house. Anyway, don't feel bad, Brad. We all look over the simple things.
Thank you.
Tony, I've got an idea for you. You go to a county fair over the summer and do the market hog portion of the sale, since you were wanting to be an auctioneer career going farther than Brad's mower has gone in the last year. Anyway, three guys, keep visiting the Go-Marts, eating Fly Rod Slim Jims, telling great stories, and making me laugh. Let's go Mountaineers. I once attended the Wardensville beef auction.
Excuse me?
I attended in Wardensville, West Virginia, I attended the beef auction there.
Were you a guest of somebody, or did you just say one Saturday, I think I'm going to head over and check this out?
It was middle of the week, and drove over there.
Somebody go with you?
Digger Dan.
Just you two?
Mm-hmm.
Had either of you been to this before?
Uh-uh.
You didn't? Did you talk to anybody, know how it works or anything, or did you just walk in?
We learned when we got there.
Did you buy anything?
They called us the day before.
Excuse me?
It was a job. They said...
Oh, you were working.
Yeah.
So you weren't participating?
No.
So you didn't have a paddle?
No. They said, hey, sorry to call you on short notice, but something happened. Can you guys come over and videotape the beef auction tomorrow? I said, well, let me take a look at my schedule. Yeah, we're open. Now, where's this? And they said, Wardensville. I said, well, how you get there? I forget. They gave us pretty good directions. So me and Digger Dan drove over there. He had the video gear.
Just one camera?
Yeah. So I didn't have a whole lot to do. So I wandered around there. It was awesome. It was just what you thought it would be. They bring them cows in the middle of the ring, and they start auctioning them bad boys off.
Yeah.
But the greatest thing was,
if you win that auction, you got to walk out of there. You got to load it up. You got to have your trailer ready to go.
Oh yeah, you load them up.
You just can't take your Chevette over there and then hope you get Get it back.
No.
Okay.
It ain't fitting in a Chevette. So the cattlemen, the West Virginia Beef Council, I think it's called, they have a big tent set up outside, and they cook these ribeye steaks,
Ooh.
steak sandwiches. Oh, dude.
Do you have a couple?
A couple, like to the fifth power, they were like eating candy. Soft roll, perfectly grilled ribeye.
Cheese?
Don't remember.
Peppers?
I'm not sure, but dude, like candy. Crushed them the whole day. Awesome.
Was the auctioneer good?
Oh, yeah. He had it
Could
down.
you do that?
In time, sure.
Would you do that? Is that different than the estate? You do that?
I would do
You
cows.
do a beef auction?
Oh, hell yeah. I'd do cows. I would do cows. I told you the only thing I'm lacking in the auctioneering.
So no silverware, but you do the beef.
I'm not doing plates. I'm not doing estate like, here's Martha's, like, rocking chair. No. Give me a big old cow coming into that thing. Like,
It's like grandma's quilt collection. You don't want to auction that off, but you'd go in there and get a couple steer, and you'd do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I would do that. The only thing I'm lacking in the auctioneering thing is that they have a riff. These guys put a riff into their call that basically is just filling time until they get the next bid.
Mm.
There's something in there.
You'd have to work on that.
They just have to teach me how to do that. Isn't your boy Strawn an auctioneer?
Much like you, very skilled at different things, he can jump in and provide. He's a nice, good speaker, does a great job. He can jump in and auctioneer when needed. I think he probably feels he could be a lead as well.
He has that he has the riff. Someone taught him the riff.
He's very good at it. The difference with him, he wants to work. I mean, he'll go do the silverware. He'd do an estate in a second. He's not as big a diva as you.
I don't know if you needed to attack me and call me a diva. Hoppy questioned whether I could do a 6-hour auction. He's probably right. I probably don't want to do it for 6 hours. I probably want to go in there and get the big stuff out. Maybe I'll work with Strawn.
I was just going to say, you'd be better off as a team. Because Strawn can chew innings for you. So he'd give you a bunch. You come in like the closer, drop a couple. That's enough to whet your appetite. Then you're out. You'd get bored. You'd want to move on. I think that's how that would work.
I think you got it figured out. Yep. Hey, Taylor, do you have the... Okay. Oh, we can get this one out here. Apparently this one transferred. The rest didn't. Now he's just yelling at us across the wall.
I don't know what he's saying. I can't hear him anyway.
All right, so this is from a texter. Mothman spotted this morning. The rumor is he's trying to protect us from the Chinese balloon. So there he is, Brad. Mothman flying in the air.
I thought that thing had died. Can we get off the Mothman?
Would that be great if the Mothman took the balloon down? But it seems as though we used a different device to take the balloon down this weekend. Didn't quite go with the Mothman. Kind of went for a little something off of a fighter jet. Balloon, good to see you. Texter. Texter, when you and Stats assumed, what you and Stats assumed isn't true, but I take responsibility as you didn't have all the facts. This was the guy that ripped us the last time because, like, he went all over the place to try to find a Courchevel. And he said, me and my brother, we wanted to get a Courchevel. We go to all these places.
Okay.
So we said, well, why don't you call somebody up and ask him before you start driving around? So he said, in fact, we went to Gene's Friday night, and the lovely Irish bartender didn't have any Courchevel. The live band with the red piano wheeled out on a dolly was awesome. I had called on the celly, as you guys suggested, to a few establishments. We enjoyed the burrito at Black Bear and even hit up Kegler's. I am savoring my crowler of hoppy Courchevel without my bro that I got on my way out of town last Saturday. It was so sweet listening to you and watching our team dominate the Sooners. Let's go and get Stevenson to his first dance.
Good. So they found a crowler.
Yeah.
Did we know that last time?
Yeah. Okay. No, we didn't know that.
All right, good. Glad they got some.
Texter, Dateline, Saturday, 4 February, Kingwood, West Virginia, 12:15 p.m. Central Time, 1:15 Eastern. I'm attending a basketball game at Preston County High School and was feeling quite irritated that I was so close to Morgantown, but the limited supply of the much sought-after Courchevel was reportedly out of stock according to the Thursday Three Guys pod. However, while reviewing Twitter before the start of this game, the senator tweeted that the elusive Courchevel was back in stock at many fine Morgantown establishments immediately. Following the conclusion of said game, I rush my unsuspecting wife to the parking lot and embark on a mission through the back roads of Preston County to reach our final destination, Black Bear, Morgantown, where I immediately ordered a Courchevel. Gentlemen, all I can say is thank you. What a fine tasting beer. Please relay my personal thanks to Brad for the tweet, as I was able to enjoy some Courchevel while crushing an appetizer and a burrito. Signed by Matt in Martinsburg.
Excellent. Good
That's
work,
what
Matt.
we're here for. We're just here to have fun.
Just providing information. Trying to help.
Next text, TC.
That queso at Black Bear would go nice with a Courchevel.
Yeah,
You ever tried that queso with the chips? Very good.
Yeah, it's very good. I was there a couple of weeks ago at Black Bear. I got the Sergeant Pepper. Really good burrito. Next text says, TC, Duracell, and Hoppy. Calling you Duracell for the battery.
No, good one.
Very nice.
Well done.
Great win against Oklahoma. I've been waiting on someone to talk about the football coaching hires. Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over, expecting different results. Reagan going back to quarterback coach, Brown possibly calling the plays again is insane. In a previous episode, you thought Brown wanted to be in control of his own fate and would be hard to bring coaches to West Virginia because of job security with the current program. Do you think Graham Harrell left because he didn't have the total control of the offense, or did he feel Brown wanted him out because of his performance? Do you think Brown's contract and the financial burden of his buyout affected the money available to hire new assistants? It seems $200,000 is the bottom of pay in Big 12. Thanks for all you do. P.S. Your next Three Guys live event could be held in Flatwoods, Gomart parking lot with a Burdette camper as a studio. You could also invite the Mothman for a meet and greet. Signed by Jason and Beckley.
It's a good idea till the last line.
You got any thoughts on this football stuff?
Where to start? I think that, I do think there was some hindrance or some limitations placed because of the uncertainty around Neal's future. I think there's no question that was a factor in talking to assistant coaches and, quite frankly, talking to transfer portal guys. I also think, as we've said many times, if I'm Neal Brown and I've been a play caller my whole career, I'm going back to that. Going back to that. If you're going to be on me, you're going to be on me because of what I called. I'm not bringing somebody else in that I don't know, that I don't trust, that doesn't know exactly how I want to do it. And if I'm getting blown up, then I'm getting blown up because of what I called.
I agree. 100%. Scopes, spreads, and Dean. That blowout was just what the doctor ordered. Oklahoma has left us with more we should have won that game losses than anyone since joining the Big 12. Fantastic bounce back. I noticed a bizarre trend after the game. I'm looking at Trey Mitchell's stats for conference games. He has scored in double digits in every loss, but single digits in every win, plus Auburn. Hard to imagine that continuing, as I'm a firm believer he'll need to be productive for us to move up, but it stunned me, nevertheless. I'm looking forward to my first Courchevel, signed by not Charlie in Charleston. Garrett in Alaska writes, greetings to the two guys and the Buckwheat King, otherwise known as Hoppy. Preston County Day at the Legislature really gets him going. He tweeted 3 pictures about buckwheat cakes and sausage within an hour and 57 minutes to be exact. Average rate of tweet every 19 minutes. Just long enough to hammer another stack and go back for another. Yeah, pretty good for an old man using the Twitter machine. How many cakes do you think each of you could consume in one sitting? Former resident, likely to be a future landowner in Preston County, Garrett in Alaska. So a couple of questions to your question. How many cakes do you think each of you could consume in one sitting? We talking like silver dollar pancakes, or we talking like the full circumference of a skillet pancake? Like a big ass flapjack or little baby pancakes? If it was like, if they're like, how do you do these sizes? Like if it's the size of a regular IHOP pancake, how many could you eat? If I had to, I don't think there's any question I could go 6+.
With you.
right?
With you.
So like if it's a contest, I'm probably somewhere between 8 and 10. Buckwheat's a great flour. Great flour. Made some bread this weekend with ancient grains. Those are grains, the authentic grain that's 10, 20, 30, they estimate, thousands of years old. The authentic grain. Pretty interesting.
Good.
Think about that. Yeah, it's good.
We used to crush pancakes at that all-night diner in New York City, right by remember the first hotel we used to stay in?
Sarge's.
Sarge's. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Right around the corner. They had the big ones.
20. Yeah.
But we always got those as sides.
Yes.
Usually an omelet or something to go with it, and then the big pancakes.
That was a late night there.
At 4 in the morning.
The year we won the Big East tournament. Went there, right? That was always the thing. We always said, if we win this Big East tournament, we're coming to Sarge's no matter what time it is. We got in there about 4 in the morning. It was awesome. Texter, I enjoyed Tony's voice breaking on Seth Wilson's three-pointer with 2:42 remaining in the first half. Good! Sounded like a 12-year-old boy. I loved it. Adam from Melbourne, Australia, on the voice breaking text. Yeah, I noticed that too. I hadn't done that in a long time.
Why'd that happen?
I just blew it out too much and didn't have enough wind in my diaphragm, so my voice cracked.
Authentic.
Yeah, it was.
It's an authentic reaction.
It was, but that's not what you want. You don't want your voice to crack. That's kind of become the thing now, like scream, but no. Like growing up in the business, like when we were in college, if your voice cracked in a call,
yeah,
bad day, scarlet letter, not good. But now people like kind of think that's a good thing, but it's not a good thing. Control. Meanwhile, David in Rochester, New York, we played our best game offensively against the Sooners. In reviewing our Ken Pom rankings, we've risen, would you say 14 now?
14.
The amazing ranking there, though, was that number 351 out of 363 in our luck ranking. If that can turn around, we could be up to something. Keep up the good work, boys. Let's go, Mountaineers.
Yeah, we've talked about that luck ranking before. Excuse me, speaking of voice cracking. It's really just one of those, we've also hit it a different way, where you started the way you did. What would they start, 0-5 in conference play? Mm-hmm. Is that right? With a couple of coin flip games that could have gone the other way. So that luck rating basically is a measure of, we've talked about it in terms of shot quality. The shots you've taken, the normal efficiencies where you'd get a win weren't falling in your direction. So West Virginia was due for some regression back to the mean, coming in a positive manner. I think you've seen that here over the last 5 or 6 games.
Texter. Hey, 3 guys, on Saturday, I convinced my dad to take a short walk from where we park for basketball games over to the Black Bear to sample some Kirchhoff. After a few sips, I asked him what he thought of the beer. His only suggestion was he wished that the ABV, the alcohol content, was a little higher. Overall, it was perfectly refreshing and balanced. Great beer, great win, great show. Can't wait for Kirchhoff to find his way into the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Let's go, Mountaineers. Greg from Pittsburgh. That's the thing that you just keep coming back to. It's just extremely drinkable. Question for Brad. Ken Pom says that Rutgers is a better basketball team than West Virginia. Do you agree? Signed by Mo in Morgan County.
I'll be honest with you, Mo. I haven't seen much of Rutgers. Now West Virginia is actually ranked ahead of them today, 14 versus Rutgers 15, but I haven't watched Rutgers much.
Texter 3Gs. It's been a while since I texted, but there have been far too many signs from above to ignore any longer. I think this one was replaced. Yes, we read that one.
We did that one.
That got in there twice. Texter. Charlie from Midlothian. Scope, spreads, and the missing link. As to Tony's disclaimer last show, you did not use the term I coined. Text not read. Announcer's decision. Ha. As for the last 4 podcasts, my text Ken Pom rating fell to the 50th percentile. As for hugs, leave no doubt comment. Will it work for other teams or just when we play the Oklahoma team? That's a good point. Hugs did go. He went leave no doubt. I didn't even put the 2 and 2 together that it was against Oklahoma. Solid.
Got to stay hot. Big one on Wednesday.
Oh.
Big one on Wednesday.
So when we come back on Thursday, our boy still won't be here, right? Because he'll be at the legislature on Thursday. If he goes down there again, right?
I think he is.
Well, we'll miss little buddy.
Well, we'll see him in August.
Yeah, he can give us his basketball thoughts when he comes back in mid-June. Pretty good gig, I think. Oh, why didn't that print? Wait, stop the show. Why the heck didn't that? Anyway, this guy wrote a haiku.
Had a bad communication show to headsets aren't working well. Calling the play in from up above, headsets aren't working.
Here's a really good text. This guy said he's going to write a haiku. Kercheval, rare brew. Charleston thirsts in vain. Effording, my ass. There it is. There's a Kercheval. Sure, go ahead, Taylor. Put all the pictures in we haven't used. Yeah. That's it? All right. Taylor's going to try to bounce back. He had another. He's had a rough, huh?
Rough.
He's gone into a little bit.
Well, I mean, his Ken Palm ranking is sliding.
Yeah, he's had a rough day. We're going to help make him better. We still love Taylor, and we're going to bring him back around. Thank you for the haiku. 3 guys before the game brought to us by the Burdett Camping Center, the only warranty forever RV dealer in West Virginia. If you're going to buy an RV, you know someone's going to buy an RV. Like say, dude, why wouldn't you buy it at Burdett Camping? They're going to give you a great service. And then the warranty is going to last forever. It's like, done deal. Why not? 3 guys also brought to us.
If you're not making shots, you just might have to get somebody else in the lineup.
Excuse me?
If you're not making shots, someone else might have to get in a lineup that can make shots.
You talking about across
Well, I'm
the
just saying, at some point you got to perform. I mean,
so
it's a results-based business.
You might sit him. Bring back Mark Spruill.
I mean, make shots.
Haven't seen Spruill in a while. He could still jump in there, play. 3 guys also brought to us by Gomart. If you're not a Gomart Rewards Card member, you need to sign up today. Save on gas, your favorite snacks. Go to Gomart.com, rewards for more details. So you're talking about changing up the lineup.
Well, I mean, you can't just continue to not win games and not do anything about it. You got to try and fix it.
I get it. So you think he's brought us back? We're not operating as efficiently as we can, so you're thinking about a move.
I didn't think this was as efficient. I mean, our offensive efficiency today went way down.
What about the last show?
I mean, still won the game.
Yeah.
Offensive efficiency went way down.
Last 2 games, right?
It's been a slump.
He did get Nathan on Skype. But you got to be a complete player. You just can't play one half.
2 free throws down the stretch there. You're calling for things. They weren't on there.
3 guys also brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Award-winning support and service. Visit them at comaxwv.com. See ya.